Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review, and today we're taking a look at the Mezco 112 Collective Blade figure, and I'm so excited about this guy, one of my most anticipated figures of this year, so I'm really happy to have it in hand. But let's take a quick look at the box. It's the big, oversized Mezco box, but it is collector friendly. It does look cool on the front here. It just says Blade 112 Collective, Marvel, all that good stuff. On the side, we get a little logo that's made up of some daggers or whatever, and then on the back, we get a look at the figure with all the accessories, and then a bunch of promo shots. So pretty cool stuff, but let's look at the figure. So here's Blade right out of the box, and I'm not going to leave you in suspense. I'm going to tell you right off the top that this figure is badass. I would say that he's probably the best Mezco figure that we've seen this year. I know that we're not that deep into the year, but Mezco has put out a bunch of stuff, and I think that Blade is the king of the Mezco figures of 2019 so far, and that includes Gomez, which is an incredible figure itself, but I don't think it's touching this Blade. This Blade is just amazing. So let's take a look at here, starting off with the face sculpt. The face sculpt is very nice. I love all the details on it. And I like that they took inspiration from the movie version of Blade, but it's definitely not Wesley Snipes or anything like that. But you could definitely see the influence from the movie because of the haircut and the tattoos on the back of the neck there, which are a little hard to see because of the glare. But they definitely look familiar. But yeah, I like this face sculpt a lot. I think it looks great. I like the facial expression there. So very good stuff, and he does have some facial hair that you could see, and I don't think it's sculpted, or I can't feel it, or maybe it's sculpted a little bit, but either way, the facial hair looks very nice, and the skin tone looks great too. It doesn't have that speckled effect that we've seen on a lot of other Mezco figures. Has pretty much a consistent look to it, but it looks very good. I like the skin tone a lot. And then down into the shirt here. The shirt is great too. It has like an elastic kind of quality to it. So it sticks really close to the body, which is amazing because then you could see the muscles under the shirt. I love the red stitching that they used up here. And there's a little bit more down here on the sleeves. I do wish that they found a way to put a little bit more of that just to break up the black on the shirt. But as is, it does look amazing. And yeah, there's a lot of give to the shirt here. So the articulation isn't really restricted too much. So I think that's great. And let's see on the back here, you've got the stitching going down the middle there. But still, it all looks very nice. Yeah, you kind of get stuff on there sometimes. But yeah, look at that thing, man. That looks really cool. I was kind of worried that the upper portion of Blade was going to look a little plain, but I really like the way that it looks. And then down onto the belt here, you have very nice sculpted work on the belt. And the one thing that's a little frustrating about this figure is the belt just floats freely, which kind of reminds me of Marvel Legends, which, you know, I love Marvel Legends, but that's one aspect I don't like about them is they always have things like this happening. But you could bring it down a little bit to where it's like a little tighter, and it'll stay for the most part. But the sculpting work on it is very nice. You have some holsters here for his weapons that we'll look at in a little bit. You can take the belt off from right here if you would like. It unlatches. And then you have some pouches there. All of that looks really nice. And then the pants, I don't know what kind of material this is. I don't want to say that it's leather. I don't want to say that it's pleather. I don't know what it is. I don't think that it's the cloth with like a coating on it like we've seen with other Mezco stuff. I think I'm not sure what kind of material this is. So if you know, be sure to let me know in the comments because I think this is the same kind of material that they use on some of the jackets. But it does look nice. It works really good for Blade. That's another thing that I feel like they got inspiration from the movie. And then you have this piece here that holds the daggers that he comes with, or the spikes. And again, we'll look at that in a little bit here. And I love the fact that this thing doesn't move around. It's attached on there somewhere, so that's really cool. Because that would have been frustrating if that thing was falling all over the place too. But yeah, the pants look great. And then down to the boots. The sculpting work on the boots is very nice too. Got like a armor plate right there. Really good stuff. Very detailed. Yeah, I like this figure a lot, man. I really do. And the big thing about it is that you could feel comfortable messing around with it. You don't have to worry about anything, you know, being damaged or anything like that. There was times where I was like moving them and then I would think like, oh crap, did I pinch the, you know, the pants into the joint there? I would look and then it would be perfectly fine. And that happened a couple times where I kind of got comfortable with it and I'd be messing with it and then I'd be like, oh, you know, oh, did I do something? And then nope, it was perfectly fine. So that's a very comforting feeling when it comes to a Mezco figure. That's a big plus for me. If I'm able to play with it without stressing out, then I'm very, very happy with it. And then you have the gloves that look very nice, and they're not just hands that are painted black. You could actually see some details in there. And I like that there's some red on there, so it kind of matches with the clothes. And one thing I want to mention real quick is there are tattoos on the arms, but they're very hard to see. because his shirt is really tight. Let's see if we could get this up a little bit here. There we go. It took a minute, but yeah, you could see that there's tattoos on there, which really makes me think that I bet we'll see another version of Blade pretty soon. Probably something very similar to the Toy Fair version, but you know, maybe with some kind of change, or maybe like an all black version or something. But I can't imagine they put tattoos on the figure just for the Toy Fair version and for them to be hidden under the shirt here. So I guess we'll see. But these do look very nice. Again, movie inspired, so that's awesome. And for the accessories, he comes with a bunch of great stuff, including 7 different sets of hands. First off, we have a pair of fists. The next set of hands I would describe as fighting stance hands. So the right side has his 2 fingers up with his thumb out a little bit, and then the left side has like a, I don't know, like a palm strike type of pose. And I do like these a lot because we do know that Blade is able to fight and he's a martial artist and all that cool stuff. For the next set, on the right side, we have a flat hand that could be used for some more martial arts stuff. And then on the left side, we have a really tight gripping hand that could be used to hold on to his spikes that he comes with. And then next up, we have some trigger finger hands, and both of these hands can be used to hold on to his machine gun. And then we have another set of gun gripping hands. This time we have the trigger finger on the right side, and then the left is just an open hand so he could support the gun. And then the final set of hands is just a pair of gripping hands, and the right side is just a traditional type of gripping hand, and the left side is able to grip, but it also has a thumbs up, or like a thumb kind of extended. And then he comes with a couple of muzzle flare effects, and both of them are ones that we've seen before. This one here is the one that we've seen a bunch of times. It's the one that we originally saw with Punisher, and we've seen it with a bunch of figures since then. But it is very nice. It has the flame in the back there with the bullet towards the end. And then he comes with the bigger blast effect, and I believe that this is the same muzzle flare that we saw with the Gomez figure. Aside from the guns, he does come with a couple of additional weapons, including a sword that you're able to put into the sheath, and the sheath is held onto the back using a magnet, and you can see that it slides in and out of there very easy. And we'll take a look at that magnet in just a second. And he does come with a couple of vampire killing weapons, including 6 of these spikes and then 2 of these boomerang blades. Blade only comes with 2 different head sculpts. I say only because the Toy Fair version I think came with 4 different head sculpts. It came with a couple of bald ones that were kind of influenced by the more modern look for Blade and maybe like the TV show with Sticky Fingers. But yeah, in this case we only get 2. We've already taken a pretty close look at this one. And then you have this head sculpt with the fangs exposed, and that looks really cool. And I love that facial expression. He looks super pissed off. And it's very similar as the other head as far as the facial hair goes. And the haircut, again, it's inspired by the Wesley Snipes look with the lines in the back. And then you have the tattoos again. And then you have the same type of hairstyle up top. So one of the coolest things that come with this figure is the shades, and these things are very nice, and it actually comes with 4 pair of these shades. So in case you lose them or break them or whatever, you have a couple of extras. And what I like about these is that they wrap around his ear, and they stay really snug onto the face, so you don't really have to worry about them falling off or anything like that. So that is awesome. But then if you want to remove them, it's very easy to take them off. As you can see, there you go, you just pop them off like that. And then they do fit on both head sculpts, and all you have to do is just slide them onto the face. And there you go. It's very easy to get them on and off. So this is a very cool accessory. I really like these things a lot. And what's really cool about them too is you could put them on other figures like Marvel Legends. So as you can see, I have them on the Scarlet Spider. He's rocking the shades, looking all cool. And you could also put them on other Mezco figures. So here they are on the Old Man Logan, and that looks really cool too. So taking a closer look at all the weapons here, everything is very well detailed. I like that this has like a mechanical type of look to it. It doesn't look like some ancient sword or anything. It looks like it's technologically advanced a little bit with all the different textures and highlights there. And then of course you have the blade that looks awesome. It has like those cutouts, those like rectangle cutouts there, and then the handle looks nice too, but not too much going on there. And then you have the magnetic clip, and the way that I think this goes on is having the sword on there sideways, because there's actually little grooves that these clips fit into. I've seen some people try to do it like that, and it doesn't hold very well. So I think that it goes like that, because I've kept it like this since I've opened it, and I haven't had a problem at all. This has kind of stayed on there pretty good. So I think that's the way that I'm going to keep it. And the way it works is you can see the little magnet there, and it goes right onto Blade's back, and it's a pretty strong magnet. It hasn't fallen off or anything like that. and you could move it to different positions and all that kind of cool stuff. And it does work when the jacket's still on, and we'll take a look at that when we bust the jacket out. But yeah, that is awesome stuff. I like the way they did that a lot. And that's a really clever way of doing that. I'm glad that they decided to go with this really strong magnet, because they've used magnets in the past, but they're pretty weak, like on the Captain America shield and on Gomez's feet. Those magnets aren't very strong, but this right here, you could feel how strong it is. Look at that. You could just see it. And then next up, we have the guns. And I'm no gun expert, so I have no idea if this is based on an actual gun or if it's like an exaggerated version of an actual gun or something. But either way, it looks very cool, and it looks like you can murder a bunch of vampires with it, so I like that a lot. And then you have the removable magazine. You're able to see the bullet in there, so that is very cool. That's a Mezco standard at this point, so that's very awesome to see that in there. And there's a lot of cool details on here. I almost thought that this part moved back or something, you know, that would have been great, but obviously that would have been asking for a little much. But I'm just saying, I wouldn't put it past Mezco to do something crazy like that with one of their guns. And yeah, this one is really, really nice. And then next up, he has a shotgun, and then you have the pump action, which is always awesome. And yeah, this one is very well detailed too. I like the way that it looks. I've seen some people stick the spike into the end of the gun into the barrel. I don't know if that's if it was supposed to be like that, but you know, it works if you want to. I think it looks kind of goofy because the spike is sticking out too much. If it was able to slide way in there, I think that would have been cool, but just as is, I probably won't be displaying it like that at all. And then it has like a strap here that you could wrap around his shoulder, which is nice. And if you don't want that, this comes off really, really easy. Just a little clip here, you know, very simple. But I'll probably keep that on there because I think that's pretty cool and unique. And these are the only two guns that he comes with. The Toy Fair version did come with the handgun. I do wish that this one did as well, but you know, I'm okay with the fact that it didn't. Maybe we'll see it in a future release. And then next up, you have this blade type of thing. I think it's called a Boomerang Blade. I've heard a couple people call it that. I'm not 100% sure if that's what it's called, but that works, I think. And it's really cool because it has like a hinge, so you could swing it around. You could collapse it down like this. And that is very nice. And then once it's like this, you could fit it into Blade's belt holster here. And it fits in there very nice. You don't have to worry about it falling out or anything. And then you have 6 of these little spikes. And, you know, the spikes are pretty basic. There is a little bit of detail in there, a couple of lines sculpted in there, but not much going on. But these things are very cool because you could stick them into the holsters here, and it just adds a lot to the overall look of Blade. So I love this a lot. And it's cool that he comes with 6. That way you could, you know, have a couple in here and then a couple in his hands, or maybe like in his belt or something. You know, you have some options because you have so many of them. But yeah, once they're all in there, that is really, really nice. And then of course you have the standard Mezco stand with the peg in the middle, or you could use it to pose him on the articulated posing arm. And I've said it a bunch of times before, these are cool, but they're too big and they get scratched really, really easy. I promise you, I haven't even touched this area of the surface of the base and it's already scratched. I don't know what the heck is going on, but anyways, this does look cool if you want to throw Blade on there. And last but not least, we have his jacket. And the jacket is very nice, but it's kind of hard to put it on him. That's why I didn't do it on camera here. But it is very cool. I love the red on the inside. It's very nice. And then it has a wire running through the lining of the jacket. And then it also has a wire at the collar. So there's a lot of possibilities there. And I love that it's not just the same jacket that we got with Punisher. You actually have some different kind of things going on back here. It kind of looks like a duster or something. And yeah, I like that a lot. You've got some layers and all kinds of cool things. Even like on the arm, you've got some layers. It looks very different from the Punisher jacket. But yeah, he looks very cool when he has this on. And I like that there's more red on here, you know, to kind of make it match with the stitching there. But, you know, his arms pretty much, they almost become pretty much useless, or you can't really get them forward while wearing the jacket. I'm sure you can, but it would probably take a lot more work. You know, you got to kind of shift the jacket around, shift the arm around. But, you know, with the layers of cloth and stuff like that, it definitely hinders the articulation in the arms. But still, of course, you could still get some awesome poses out of them. And it does have a zipper, which I kind of feel like they probably should have just left the zipper out and just did the jacket how they did the Old Man Logan jacket, because when the jacket is on the figure, it's very, very hard to zip it up. Actually, I wasn't even able to. I tried a couple times and I was like, why even risk it, you know? How often do you see Blade with a closed jacket anyways? So yeah, the jacket does look very, very nice. Man, he looks so badass. He looks really cool with this, but it does take away from a bit of the fun factor as far as posing them and messing with them. But still, man, he just looks so cool, and it's awesome that this is even an option. And as I mentioned before, the sword can still attach to his back with the jacket on. It's a little less, there's a little less attraction there because there's an extra level of clothing, obviously, but it does stick, and you don't have to have any worry about it falling off. As you can see, it stays on there pretty good, so I like the way they did that. Just for fun, I took some parts from the Marvel Legends Blade figure and threw them on the Mezco version, and as you could see, it actually looks pretty cool, especially the head sculpt, and doing this kind of makes me feel better about missing out on that Toy Fair version. So it is possible for you to set up a bald looking Blade, and his head doesn't like pop on or anything, but it does kind of squeeze down onto the neck, and it'll sit there kind of secure. I do like the way it looks with the little harness here with these stakes, even though they're a different color. And then you have this little leg piece too that I took from the Marvel Legends one. And yeah, I think it all looks nice. This actually fits right in with the rest of what Blade has going on, so I might end up leaving that on there in the display. This kind of looks cool, but it looks a little too plastic, so I don't know, it clashes a little bit. But overall, I think that this is a pretty cool option that we have here. And the skin tones don't match exactly, but they're pretty close. There's just a slight difference. For some quick size comparisons, here he is next to the Marvel Legends Blade and Marvel Legends Sasquatch Wave Deadpool. And now here we have him with the Mezco Tactical Suit Punisher and the Mezco Daredevil. And these guys look awesome together. I really can't wait till we get Ghost Rider. The four of them are going to look amazing together. Oh, and Moon Knight, man. Mezco's killing it with the like street level type of heroes. And man, they're going to look great together. And now here we have them with the Mezco Previews exclusive Doctor Strange and the Mezco Comic-Con exclusive Batman Beyond. And it's been a couple months since I've handled this Doctor Strange figure, but man, they really need to re-release Doctor Strange with some better arms. These elbows are ridiculous. I forgot how bad they were. But he does still look cool hanging out with Blade, so that could definitely make for some cool team-up pictures. And then next up, here he is with the Mezco 112 Collective Old Man Logan and the Marvel Legends Tiger Stripe Wolverine. And since these guys were all on a team together for a while there, here's Blade next to the Marvel Legends Captain Britain and the Marvel Legends Black Knight. And then next up, we have Blade alongside the Marvel Legends Ghost Rider and the Mafex comic book Spider-Man. And to finish off the size comparisons, here we have Blade alongside the Marvel Legends Pizza Spider-Man and Marvel Legends Bucky Cap. So the articulation on Blade is really nice, but I can't tell what body they used here. It might be an all-new body. It feels similar to the Punisher one, but it's not as big as the Punisher, but it's definitely not as small as the Spider-Man body. So yeah, I'm not really sure what we have going on here. Maybe it's a new body, and that's always exciting that when they introduce new bodies into the line, opens up a bunch of possibilities. But anyways, let's get into it here. His head is able to move side to side. You have the typical head and neck setup where the head has movement at the upper neck, and then there's movement where the neck meets the torso. So using both of those, you could get his head looking up to about right there, get him looking down to about right there, and then you have some tilt. You could get some pretty expressive poses out of the head area, so that's nice. And then for the torso, it seems like the torso has a less range than some of the recent Mezco figures. Let's see here. It definitely doesn't move as good as the Gomez or the Homecoming Spider-Man, but let's see what we got going. So you could get him crunching forward to about right there, which is actually okay, but he can't really go back too far. Let's see here. So he could only go back to about right there, but that's still okay too. That's not bad at all. And it's the typical Mezco setup for the torso. You have a joint at the mid-torso and then a joint at the waist. So using those two, you could go side to side and then you could tilt. So nice movement there, but just a little bit less than we've seen recently, but still, it's still very good. And then for the arms, he does have a slight butterfly shoulder joint going on there. So that's awesome. And then you could bring his arms out to the side, obviously. You could bring them forward a really nice amount. And the clothes really don't restrict it too much. And you really don't have to worry about like damaging it because the shirt has like an elastic type of quality to it. So, you know, it's not like it gets stretched out or anything. It still kind of forms back to his arms. So that is awesome. And then you have the upper bicep swivel, double jointed elbows. You have a swivel at the wrist and a hinge at the wrist. And then for the legs, let's see what we have going on here. You could kick them out to the side to about right there. You could probably get a pretty cool like high kick out of them. Let's see here. You always want to exercise caution when you're doing stuff like this with Mezco because you don't want to rip the pants right in here. But yeah, you could get his leg up really high. So that's cool. And you could, you know, bring it back to about right there. We're going to use this leg since this leg has this. But yeah, you could move it back to about right there. Kick it straight forward. to about right there. And like I said, you can move this figure around a lot without having to damage the material here, so that's really, really cool. And then you have the upper thigh swivel. You have double jointed knees. You kind of have a swivel at the boot, but it's a little tough to move around because that's where the material is stuffed in. But you do have a swivel at the foot, and you have some nice rocking action going on. You could bring his foot forward to about right there, bring it up to right there, and just kind of rotates around. But yeah, really good articulation on this guy. I have no real big complaints. I guess the torso could be a little bit better, but even how it is, it's perfectly fine. So really nice job with the articulation. So overall, as you could probably tell, I am very, very happy with this figure. I think that Mezco did an incredible job with it. He's a lot of fun to mess around with, to pose, to play with. He feels durable. It doesn't feel like the material is going to get damaged anytime soon. I know with any figure, if you play with it enough, you could potentially damage it. But in this case, I really feel like the material on him is going to hold up pretty well, so hopefully that turns out to be true. And I just love all the accessories that he comes with. He comes with a couple things that we've seen a bunch of times, you know, guns, muzzle flare effects, multiple hands, all that stuff. But he also comes with things that are unique to Blade, like the spikes and the sunglasses, which is really cool. That's an awesome new accessory that we've never seen before that you could use on a bunch of other figures. And if I had to complain about one thing, I guess I would just say that I wish he came with some kind of vest, but you know, that's maybe something that we could see in a PX version down the road. And I really feel like they're going to give us a PX version because I don't think they would have put so much work into the Toy Fair one if they didn't have other plans to use like all the accessories and to show off the tattoos and all those kind of things. So I guess we'll see, but I could definitely see this figure reaching Punisher level of popularity because this thing is just so much fun. He's such a good figure. He looks so cool. I bet if they put out like a version with all kinds of crazy accessories, it would be just as well received as the PX Punisher. But yeah, I'm so happy to have this figure. And it's really cool to see that Blade is getting some respect these days. He's currently a part of the Avengers, which is pretty awesome, even though he kind of doesn't fit with the Avengers just in general. I like the fact that they would put him in there just because, you know, he deserves to be out there. Hopefully we get a new Blade series going. Hopefully they do something with him in the cinematic universe or even like on like a TV show or something like that. I would love to see Wesley Snipes come back in some kind of Blade role. I know he's getting older and stuff like that, so it might be tougher than it was 10 years ago or 12 years ago probably at this point. But I think Blade in like a Whistler type role would be really cool, and I think that's kind of been a rumor out there that they might be doing that, but we'll see. But yeah, Blade definitely deserves respect. I know a lot of people were going crazy over Black Panther, saying that he was the first black superhero, but Blade was already out there kicking ass and being badass. And also a lot of people give Iron Man credit for being like the first big Marvel thing, but Blade was before that, and he was awesome. I feel like Blade was super popular, or maybe I guess just with me and my friends. I mean, we all loved Blade. We all went to the movie theaters to see it when it came out. I had the Blade soundtrack, which I loved. It had a bunch of like hip hop on there, MOP and Gangstar and all kinds of like real hip hop stuff. So yeah, you know, I loved Blade in general, and I'm happy to see him get some respect these days. And before I get out of here, I just want to say real quick, I've had a couple people contact me asking me like if I have a Patreon or if I'm going to start one or whatever. I probably will never do that. That's really not my thing. But there are ways that you could support the channel if you'd like. I always leave links to like t-shirts. I have some t-shirts for sale that I like to throw out there. I always have links to those in the description. And I also leave a bunch of Amazon links in the description. So if you want to support, go ahead and use those Amazon links. And you don't even have to buy the thing, the item that's linked. If you just start your shopping with that link, then, you know, it helps me out. So that's good stuff. I'd much rather you support that way rather than having a Patreon, which kind of seems to be a big headache, and for the most part it seems like it just spawns a lot of negativity, so I'm not trying to be around that. But you know, support's always nice, so if you want to use those links, t-shirts, whatever you want to do. If not, I really appreciate the fact that you even take the time to watch the videos. That really means a lot to me, and especially when there's so many good reviewers out there, you know. And once again, huge shout out to Sculptomotoys for sending this figure out to me so quick. Be sure to check them out. I'll leave a link to their Instagram and their website in the description below. But anyways, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff, and thank you very much. Peace.